Assam Royal Global University. This is streamed via Zoom across all social media handles of the Assam Royal Global University. Humanity is going through unprecedented times. The COVID-19 coronavirus lockdown, along with the uncertainty and ambiguity, can have a negative impact on us emotionally, physically, and mentally. This coronavirus pandemic is no doubt very distressing. However, instead of always looking at the fatality rate and the bad news, we should try to look to the positive aspects of it as well, no matter how trivial it might seem. From small issues like having meals together as a family to major environmental issues like better air quality in some of the most polluted cities of the country, we have so many things to be thankful for. Let us also not forget the immense hard work and contribution of the frontline workers from the various fields, from medical professionals to emergency services, law and order, police, into academicians and teachers. The contributions made by each and every one of them is unmatched in their own regards. And I, through this open forum, would like to place my gratitude to them. Ladies and gentlemen, to talk more on how we can develop and nurture an attitude of gratitude from the experiences gathered from these unprecedented times, we have a remarkable panelist of speakers. I would like to take this opportunity to kindly introduce our speakers to our audience. Ladies and gentlemen, we are fortunate to have amongst us the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Assam Royal Global University, Professor Dr. S.P. Singh sir, as one of the esteemed panelist members. Professor Singh is a well-known academician and administrator, having dynamic and enterprising personality with more than 29 years of experience in teaching, research, and academic administration in institutions of repute across the nation. Professor Singh has an experience of working with various institutions of repute like the University of Lucknow, the Training and Orientation Center of the Ministry of HRD, Government of India. He was also the director and the vice chairman of the Sherwood Group of Institutions, the founder director of erstwhile Royal Group of Institutions. Professor Singh also served as the senior vice president academics of the Amity Education Group and later went on to become the vice chancellor of Amity University of Raipur before joining as the vice chancellor of the Assam Royal Global University in the year 2016. I welcome Professor Singh to the webinar. We are also delighted to have amongst us Professor Alok Kumar Buragohain sir. He's a chairperson academic of the Assam Royal Global University. Professor Buragohain was the founder head of the Department of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology and was also the registrar at Tezpur University, Assam. He has also served as the founder of the ONGC-sponsored Center of Petroleum Biotechnology in the Dibrugarh University. I also welcome Professor Buragohain to this webinar. We are also delighted to have amongst us Madam Angira Memani, the Registrar, Royal Global University. With a meticulous and compassionate approach, Angira Madam, as we all call her, serves as one of the nodal points of the university. With a vast research, industry, and academic experience, she has been associated with various NGOs across Assam, one of them being Hihu Haruthi. Madam, I welcome you to the webinar. We are also joined by Professor Dr. Anuradha Devi. She is a professor and dean of the Royal School of Applied and Pure Sciences. With a rich experience in research and academics, Professor Anuradha ma'am has been the torchbearer in the domain of applied and pure sciences, not only in Assam, but the entire Northeast. Ma'am, I welcome you to the webinar. We are also joined by architect Anita Yamiyavar. She's the principal and dean of the Royal School of Architecture and the Royal School of Fashion Design and Technology. She was a former faculty at the JD Institute of Fashion Technology in Guwahati. Ma'am, I welcome you to the webinar. We are also joined by Professor Soumitra Sen, who's the dean in charge of the Royal School of Hotel Management and the Royal School of Travel and Tourism Management. He was a former HOD at the Institute of Hotel Management, Catering Technology, and Applied Nutrition at Kolkata. Sir, we are happy to help you today in the webinar. And we are finally joined by Professor Dr. Gitumoni Kumar. She's the Dean cum Principal of the Royal School of Nursing and the Royal School of Medical and Allied Sciences. Ma'am, I would like to welcome you to our midst in this webinar. So ladies and gentlemen, in the next hour or so, Our panelists will present their thoughts on the topic. The best way to live life is with an attitude of gratitude, a great learning from the COVID-19 pandemic. In the meantime, I'd like to request our participants that if you have any questions, kindly post them in the Q&A forum so that once the panelists are done putting their thoughts to our audience, so we may quickly take a couple of questions and address those questions in a manner. So without wasting any more time, I would like to introduce our first speaker, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Assam Royal Global University, Professor Dr. S.P. Singh. Sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ayushman, and my heartful thanks to all the panelists here who have joined this webinar from the side of Royal Global University, and all the participants from Guwahati, from Assam, from Northeast, and from all other parts of India. So let me first show my gratitude towards all those people who have joined this webinar, some of them as a panelist and some of them as a participant. Number two, I start with giving my gratitude to the technology, because we all are connected during this difficult time, tough time, because of the availability of very viable, cheap mode of communication while sitting at home, while working from our office. So we are very, very greatly benefited by this technology, which we were not very much aware of prior to COVID-19. And I would say that thank you, COVID-19, for making us learn the technology which we were not very familiar with. So this is the gratitude for COVID-19 also. But then if you go and see around you, and especially the definition of gratitude, it is a habit of thankfulness. Everything, whatever we are today, whatever we have gained in our life, whatever we have learned in our life, from the day we are born, from our parents, from our family, from our teachers, from people working with us, from our subordinates, from our superiors, from our children, and from our domestic worker, from our pantry staff, anybody who's working with us, there's always a chance to learn things from them. That is my personal feeling about this kind of world I'm living with. As far as gratitude, attitude of gratitude is concerned, I personally believe that the attitude comes from your family background, the way you have been groomed in your home, the way you have blossomed, and the type of environment you are working with. Sometimes it has been seen that many people are very, very humble, very, very thankful, and they're always ready to show their gratitude whenever they come across with anything which is fruitful and beneficial to them. Not personally, but also to the institution. If somebody is helping my institution to grow, somebody is helping my general family to grow, and somebody is helping me to grow, we all are having some kind of thankfulness and gratitude for them. But if I go back to my childhood, I was thinking about this topic yesterday and today morning also, that how should I start this topic? I realized one thing which my father especially, and mother also, but father was instrumental in doing that. Whenever we used to go to our village, my village is situated 45 kilometers from Lucknow city, the last village of Lucknow district. And, we were being asked, without knowing much about the word called gratitude or thankfulness, but then we were asked to, say thank you to everyone. Whenever we reach to home or reach to village, we were being asked to touch feet of everyone in the village who was elder to us. And when we used to get anything from anybody, we know that something maybe very simple sweet is coming to me, or something which probably we normally don't eat while we are at home in Lucknow. But my father always said that if somebody will offer you something in the village, any house, you have to eat it and say thank you, even if you don't like it. I used to think as a child that what kind of, behavior it is, that I'm not liking something, I'm forced to eat, and I'm forced to tell thank you very much. but probably that was the foundation of gratitude, what I learned in my life. And that was the foundation of thankfulness. Thankfulness, we have many dimensions. And I would say that the positive feeling, positive emotion, positive psychology, the positivity in your neurons, in your body, in your mind, in your soul, everything is directly proportional to your way of thankfulness and gratitude. And it comes from habits you develop from the very beginning. And if you have not developed, you can still develop those habits. We talk about positivity. I always say positivity, positive emotions. But I think when I was reading few things about this topic today and yesterday, I realized all that positivity, what I talk, what I practice, comes from the way we show gratitude to others. And gratitude has always been shown for the right things and positive things, not for the wrong things. And we all are blessed that we have learned these habits, we have learned this attitude, and we are trying to inculcate all such habits in each and every child we teach in Royal Global University, especially with the subject of behavioral science. It becomes very easy for us to, to check and find out the possibility of developing right kind of attitude in our children while we teach in the class. I at times say, and I at times when I is to talk in the auditorium or the bigger place, that at times you're very miser in clapping. And I remember Angela or maybe other people, Professor Boragohai, when we visited one place near to Nagaon, Hajai, and the way we have been appreciated by the students of Ajmal Foundation. I said that thing in front of them. I have never got such kind of appreciation, such kind of thankfulness being shown by anybody. I know they were being trained to do that, but that training was a great training. And I think I found my energy doubled in 2 minutes of clapping and shouting. So that way, this attitude can change immediately something in your body, in your mind, in your neurons. And we all should learn, and we should teach our students to become more grateful to the good things happening around them, in fact, in place of criticizing. And that is the path for success. So I'll conclude. Probably I've taken Anshuman 1 or 2 minutes extra. I may be excused, but I wanted to just give a bigger perspective of this issue. There are many minor things. Other speakers will definitely touch upon those points. So I'll conclude here, and I give it back to Anshuman, Ayushman.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I totally agree with you. The role of the family in shaping the thoughts and the life of an individual is completely unparalleled, and no one can match that. Thank you, sir, for putting your opening remarks. Next, I'd like to request our Honorable Chairperson, Academics, Professor Boragohai, sir, to put forward his opening remarks. Sir, over to you.
Good afternoon, one and all there, Professor Singh, and my very distinguished colleagues, and my dear Ayushman. Unfortunately, because of some technical snags, I missed the beginning part of the discourse. But then I could hear most part of Professor S.P. Singh. I will continue from where he left. It's a I think the subject matter has been very thoughtfully decided, an attitude of gratitude. To my understanding, gratitude, the sense of gratitude, as has been said already, is a very strong expression of what we call as a positive emotion. It's a state of emotion. And gratitude is there in the sense of gratitude is there, I think, in everybody's mind or a heart. Now the point is, how to make best use of this positive sense of, because it's a positive emotion. How to make the most of this. Professor Singh has very beautifully illustrated our own personal experience in a remote college where we have been appreciated, that expression of positive emotion, let me put it that way. And it was nothing but an expression of gratitude. I also remember, I don't know where I have read, gratitude is a very active area of research or subject matter of positive psychology. It's in the domain of positive psychology. And it has got tremendous body-mind kind of relationship. Uh, 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 you know, historically also, if we see that gratitude plays a very important role in societal life, not only societal life, in civilizational um, progression. Way back during those ancient Greek scholars, Seneca, Cicero, even in the case of as recent as Adam Smith, all these thinkers, philosophers, they have always propounded the belief that gratitude or thankfulness plays a very foundational role in the progress of civilization. So in every society, in every culture, you will see, either because of religiosity or because of cultural practices, there's a Thanksgiving Day. As a society, as a member of community, as a whole, people on one particular day, they gather together and pray and express thankfulness to whoever, maybe forefathers, ancestors, maybe the Almighty, maybe some superpower if you are an atheist. And it is this thankfulness or thanksgiving is for whatever that we are enjoying today. It may be something tangible, it may not be something tangible. The fact that we are living, the fact that we are healthy, the fact that we are positive is a matter of being grateful for whatever reason we are getting all these beautiful things of life. So this is historic. If you look at the different faiths, whether it is Christianity, whether it is Judaism, whether it is Buddhism, Theravada, especially Theravada Buddhism, you will find that there is a common bonding among the Christianity, for example, for the Christians. The common bonding among all Christians or most Christians is because of their common sense of gratefulness and gratitude to God. So that binds. That has got a tremendous societal kind of relevance. Then the Theravada Buddhism, they relate karma of the past with the sense of gratitude, with a sense of gratitude today. So philanthropy, Buddhism starts from there. Then Judaism, those who believe in Judaism, every morning waking up, they pray with a sense of gratitude that I'm awake another morning, another day. So it is nothing for tangible, anything for tangible gift or anything that is tangible, physical, but something intangible, something which keep us going. Now, there are multiple benefits of this sense of gratitude playing a role in our life. It really enlivens our spirit. It energizes us, as Professor S.P. Singh has said. We felt it, we experienced it in a small place called Hojai, how it energized us, the expression of this gratitude. Then, it uplifts your body and mind and everything, makes yourself positive. It deepens relationship. All these positive things are there. But then now, I will conclude by saying that now at this time of, this is a time of challenge, unprecedented challenge, this pandemic, in the wake of the pandemic, COVID-19. We are in the middle of unprecedented challenges. We are also in the middle of change. So this, at this point of change and challenge, or challenge and change, definitely we need to develop this sense of gratitude that we are still living That will give us the strength to cope with the change and take the challenge. So it has got, from this perspective, it is a very thoughtful, very important subject, and we have to remember that this is not a new subject. The gratitude has been playing foundational role in, as I said, in the progression of civilization is already recorded. We already, in our personal life and our societal and cultural life, we have witnessed that, being thankful or being gratuitous, gives us a tremendous sense of generosity and strength and everything that goes along positivism in our mind. So at this point of, this unprecedented situation of pandemism, where everywhere we are engulfed in an atmosphere of pessimism, this is very important that this sense of this attitude of gratitude will help us surmount all these pessimism and negativity and help us cope with the change and take up the challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It is often said, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So definitely the one who is tough, they needs to, people around them need to show some gratitude towards the tough people around us. And one such tough people is our registrar, Angira madam. Ma'am, I'd like to request you to kindly put your opening remarks to the subject.
Okay, thank you, Aishwan. Respected Honorable Vice Chancellor, Chairperson Academics, the esteemed speakers and participants, a very good afternoon. As they say, charity begins at home. So I'd like to start by expressing my gratitude to Singh sir and Buragohai sir for suggesting this very relevant topic in today's time, and as well as to all the participants listening to us. So this infamous COVID-19 has suddenly compelled us to realize the importance of gratitude as an attitude in life. Just few months back, we were happily sailing, engrossed in our maybe materialistic world, taking things for granted. But somewhere we realized that we had forgotten some basic human values, some interpersonal relationships, some family social ties, and very importantly, the value of gratitude as our expression. So this onslaught of COVID-19 has made us realize that how vulnerable are we. It has also given us time to reevaluate our attitude towards life. We have actually realized today that how dependent we are on the entire synergy of this ecosystem for our survival. We are actually nothing but cogs of a giant wheel, a small damage and we fall flat on our face. Our ingrained complacent attitude that life is sailing very smoothly and everything is under control has proved to be a total myth. The present is definitely not perfect, and this pandemic has reaffirmed now how actually uncertain the future has always been. So looking back, now I realize that it was a past that was perfect, but we had taken everything for granted. It was a gift for us, but tell me, how many of us were happy? We had complaints, we had reservations, we had small complaints for everything, little things. And so we have learned the very hard way today that there's always something to be grateful for, even when life is not going our way. We all are, I guess, born in an era when we have not seen the horrors of world wars, partitions, etc. We evolved from very smoothly from a very simple life to a very technologically advanced life. We saw a life without gadgets, without TV, to today we are globally connected with just a push of a button. So, but we took these for granted. We assumed we'll keep on going to higher and higher levels, though we did get disconnected with Mother Nature. But we were convinced that we are invincible superhumans, capable of miraculous feats, and just cannot ever be defeated. And we have been proved very wrong. A minuscule virus has given us a big jolt, and the world is on its knees. So a very important learning from this pandemic is sometimes we forget to slow down and appreciate that present moment. Small things, sitting with friends, chatting, extended families, eating, watching movies, playing. I mean, these now seem so unimaginably remote. Could we ever imagine this would have happened? So when we were in our, especially Buragoy sir was talking about missionary schools, Christianity, we were taught that every night we should kneel beside the bed and express our gratitude for whatever we got throughout the day. But that was very conveniently forgotten. Today, realization has set in that this appreciation for whatever life provides us, big or small, is so essential. And that from now on, we have to make a conscious effort to appreciate whatever each day provides us. And if we look around, we find chaos everywhere, particularly the underprivileged strata of society. And this pandemic has actually made us realize that how grateful we should be. What did we, when it started, what did we do? We complained of boredom, monotony. We can't go out, we can't meet people. But then we started seeing people fighting tooth and nail for their basic survival. So this is something we should be grateful for our privileges. And another very important lesson to be learned is, instead of accumulating our privileges, let us share our privileges. Let us be compassionate and let us develop the feeling of brotherhood and this feeling of gratitude from the bottom of our heart. If we have this attitudinal change, I'm sure the world will be a far better place to live in. And finally, as an educationist, we also need to guide our students towards these attitudinal changes, which will help them in seeing this beautiful world with a better perspective. So finally, I'd like to say, hopefully this pandemic has taught us something very important, which is an attitude of gratitude has the power to change your entire life. So that's how I'd like to end it here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. As you said, our past was perfect, but our future is very tense. So what I'd like to add to whatever you said is basically we need to reflect, retrospect, and realign our present so that we can have a very solid foundation of our future. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to request Anuradha ma'am to share her ideas about the topic. Ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, all the panelists. Thank you, Ayushman. Attitude of gratitude is a very, very apt topic you have taken for this panel discussion and for this webinar. I think I totally agree what my previous speakers have spoken. I think it's beautifully they have given their personal experiences they have shared, and they have said how COVID-19 has changed our life. A little bit also have changed that what we have forgotten in our life, daily life, that small thing we are maybe because of the privilege we are having, as Amira has said, that we may be privileged because that privilege to have abundance of facility available to us, that we have forgotten everything now. Okay. So I'd like to start with that a statement that the attitude of gratitude, or being grateful to oneself, to friends, to family, to workplace, to any situation or any circumstances, lead to a happy, healthy, and healthy and satisfied life. And gratitude is a positive emotion, as the previous speakers have said. It blocks the toxic emotions such as envy, resentment, regret, depression, and such negative emotions are blocked by this positive attitude called the gratefulness or attitude of gratitude. And which actually, if they block this kind of negative emotion, they destroy, and these emotions have destroyed our happiness. And this, if we practice the attitude of gratitude, that means we can lead a happy and healthy life. Now, this is not my word, Ayushman. This is something, because I'm a mathematician, I always believe in facts and figures, because everything has to have some scientific evaluation. Is there any scientific, thought or scientific research or scientific reports are there on these issues, like the effect of having attitude of gratitude has positive impact in the physical as well as mental health of a person? Yes, I'm going to quote one professor, Professor Robert Emmons of University of California, Berkeley, and Professor McCullough from same university. They have done extensive research on this, and research on the impact of practicing positive, practicing attitude of gratitude or practicing gratitude in their daily life, how it has impacted, how it has changed person's life, person's physical and mental life. And this whole thing, whole research has been done during the last decade, and then this has been nicely, beautifully put in a white paper called The Science of Gratitude. And it's a 72 page white paper which is available in the internet, and that has shown scientifically evidence that we have a positive impact on the positive impact on the physical as well as mental health of the health when we practice attitude of gratitude, or practice gratitude, gratefulness to each and everything. Okay. Now they have shown that it reduces. They have done it scientifically. This has been done. They have seen that this has improved the person who has, the people who have been practicing the gratefulness in their daily life. They have low blood pressure level, low reduced cholesterol level, reduce the creatinine level, which affects your kidneys. And this, and also it improves the sleep, the level or the good sleeping habits. Okay, and these are the things that involves in the physical health. If you talk about mental health, again it reduces the stress level, it reduces the it reduces your anxiety, it reduces depression, and it has been scientifically found. So this is a very positive thing, and it is a scientifically proven theory that you don't need to discuss, because it's a proven theory that if you practice this kind of attribute, this is a very positive attribute, as our previous speakers have said. If we put in our daily life, that must be giving a positive result in your, and make a healthy and happier life. Now, why we are not practicing that? That is my question. I mean, maybe are we lacking in practicing this kind of emotion or this kind of positivity in our life, daily life? As Angira has rightly said, we are becoming too busy. We are having too privileged. We are losing our ground to the reality. I mean, if you say, we don't know, if you sit in your dining table, you have got enough abundance of food in your plate, but we don't know how much hard work has been put through this, behind this beautiful plate of food. We don't think that that being alive, as Sir Bhisi Sir has said, or the Burama Sir has said, that being alive is a beautiful thing, and we forget. We forget that when we sleep in the night and when we wake up in the morning, we should be grateful that we are alive. We are breathing properly. We are breathing, or we can feel our heartbeats, and that is the wonderful thing. And we forget to being grateful for that. So I think what is missing in this scenario, not only we cannot blame our young generation for not being grateful. Maybe we are, as an educator, as parents. First of all, we have to cultivate this positive attribute in our life. I mean, we have to get grateful to each and every day. We can preach it's like a habit. It's a habit like being disciplined, habit like being punctual. This is also a kind of a habit we have to as Sir has said in the beginning, that from the beginning, from the day you're born in your family, that has to be inculcated in our mind, in our has to be taught to us. I mean, like we teach how to be disciplined, how to be punctual, that has to be all taught to our generation. Second point is, I think I just want to make one more thing. I think we always make emphasis on the letter I. As soon as we remove this letter I with we, I mean, because it's like when we don't feel grateful, because we always think that it is I who is doing this, who is performing this. If we collectively think we can replace I with we, that means that will make a wonderful life, and that means we'll be able to get this kind of attribute in our life. Secondly, another thing I just want to, 1 or 2 points I just want to make. Another point I like, this is my personal point of view, of course, I don't know, I might not agree, but I think another thing is that I think always when we are working, I mean, many of the participants here are working people. We have a job in our hand. Some of them are homemakers who are working at home, and all are like all are professional. And then when we think about job and we are not taking job as service, we cannot have that gratitude for that. we have to replace job by our service. Whatever we're doing, if our students think that as educator or teacher, she's teaching because this is her job. But if they think that she's teaching because she is doing a great service, she or he is doing a great service to the nation. If I think that my security person is doing his service, not he's doing job because he's paid to do that. If we think that way, I think if we can replace job by service, I think we will definitely have this kind of habit or this kind of attitude of gratitude in our life. And I think this is a very positive emotion. That emotion has to be inculcated by ourselves. And I think this COVID, as Andrea has mentioned, COVID-19 has actually made all of us in the same platform. In the same platform, we are not bigger, we are not smaller. No one is bigger, no one is smaller. So in that case, I think we are more appreciative for a thing that we are having here. We are privileged people. Actually, we are privileged. So maybe those things what we are not, we don't have. Maybe we can really thankful for that. I mean, we have to think if we don't have, and to inculcate or acquire this kind of habit, I think we can start with writing a thank you note or write a gratitude diary with you. I think this has been given in that book also. That white paper. If you
Absolutely.
think, take a gratitude or gratitude diary, like write things, one or two things before you go to the bed. Why you are grateful for today. I think with this, I think I just put my point of view. I'm sure there are a lot of questions may be asked during this seminar. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Ayushman.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for throwing light into the scientific evidence of practicing attitude of gratitude. Thank you so much. Now, may I request Anita, madam, to kindly share her thoughts regarding her idea about what she understands behind the philosophy of attitude of gratitude.
Thank you, Ashman. Good afternoon to all the panelists, Vice Chancellor Sir, Academic Chairperson, Registrar, other panelists, and the participants. This is a very apt title for this webinar. I must say, Ayushman, thank you for choosing the topic. In having this attitude for gratitude, with gratitude, I would think that first of all, you must thank 5 people. You must be grateful to 5 people. First is yourself, because you're doing whatever you can under the present circumstances. Second is to your guru or the teacher, because the guru is the one who has given you knowledge for you to be leading this kind of life. Third is your parents, because parents are the reason for your existence and they have made you what you are. The fourth person is anybody and everybody whom you have come across in life, because they have made you respond to the situation, and based on their response to you, you have responded and you have tried to respond it as positively as possible. The fifth person is the God himself, because God is the creator and he has made you what you are. He has been responsible. He has given you made you come into life, and you're practicing whatever you want, whatever you can in this life. Now I'm an architect by profession. So talking from profession point of view, we as architects, we are always grateful to nature. We always respect nature and we practice along with nature. We try to go as much as possible against nature. What do I mean by this? Is we're practicing architecture at macro and micro level. So even in both the levels, we always respect nature. For example, our site can be either on a hill or can be on a flat piece of land. So what do? When it's on a hill? We don't go against nature and build something against the slope. We always follow contours. We try to study the way the water flows, if there is a water body, and we respond to nature in that way. That is, when we are grateful to nature, the nature also respects us and protects our buildings. A few years before, all of us know what happened in Uttarakhand. That was a perfect example of what happens when we go against nature. Secondly, in nature, when we look at site, there are so many elements as part of your site. For example, trees, water bodies, boulders, or it can be as simple as something which has to be retained as part of the site. For example, when you're responding to historical site, we would definitely would like to retain some part of whatever is built, and we respond to the site by not building a huge monstrous concrete structure, but we something in response to that building. So even talking about trees, we don't advocate chopping off all the trees on the site, but we are grateful to nature for giving us those trees, and we build the buildings around the trees. Same thing goes with water bodies. Water bodies are part and parcel of our site and nature. We cannot just dump uh, earth onto water, close it, and then build the buildings. If you do that, we know what happens. So we'll be paid back in our own coin. Thirdly, when we talk about architecture, what do we do in a concrete jungle like cities? We don't have many trees to respond to. We don't have contours to respond to. We may or may not have. I'm not saying that we will have. How do we respond to that? Simple ways, like the nature has given us light, ventilation, and the comfort level. So we study the nature and we adopt accordingly, and we make the buildings very, very comfortable to live in. So what does all this mean? That we are grateful to nature, we have to respond to nature, and we have to practice being grateful by sustaining whatever the nature has given us and the resources that we have. Talking about this coronavirus, Ayushman, it's a small virus, but I'm sure there are a lot of controversies regarding this. But it is a man-made virus, and somebody has meddled with the nature of the virus. So what has happened is it has become a complicated virus, and it has brought the entire world to its knees. So in conclusion, I would say that please respect nature, be grateful to nature, and be grateful to oneself, and to the entire humanity, and respond positively. Positivity, as other speakers have said, it makes a lot of difference. Being positive is always, it builds your immunity. I would say that it builds your immunity. Thank you. I would like to take questions later on.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for showing light into how attitude of gratitude can be implemented in a very practical subject, for example, architecture from your regard. Thank you so much. Next, I'd like to request Soumitra Sensa to put his initial remarks on the topic. So,
thank you, Ayushman. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So very good afternoon to one and all present in this webinar. I take this opportunity to express my sincerest thanks to all the eminent panelists and all the participants who have spent their valuable times to attend this very well thought of webinar topic, attitude with gratitude. I want to start with by just telling one thing, that life does not provide warranties or guarantees. It only gives us possibilities and opportunities. In today's time of pandemic and this real time of COVID-19, everybody is thinking about what to do, how to come out of this. According to me, there's only one solution: survive and revive. And while you are surviving, you should be thankful. You should express your gratitude to all the frontline warriors, which not only includes the doctors, the paramedics, the staff in uniforms, the law agencies, the municipal corporation staff, but one which never been mentioned is the profession which I belongs to, the hospitality staff. They are also putting equal, and they are also a front line. So we should be grateful to all of them, which will enable us to survive. And then we can think about the revival phase. And while we are reviving, we'll get, as I said, life will give us the opportunities and possibilities. But if we think that we have done it by ourselves, that is the greatest foolhardiness again we are going to do. On our way to recovery, there will be people who will help us, and we should be gratitude. This reminds me of a story which I heard from my grandmother, that the squirrel, when this Ram Setu has been built, the squirrel was running and rolling himself on the sand and coming. And the Bana Senas, they complained to Lord Rama that this particular squirrel is proving problematic for us to carry out our thing. Then Ram said, look what he is doing. He's actually sealing the gap between the two stones. And that's why he's patted, and we heard that mark is still there on the body of the squirrel. So that is the gratitude. See, our Lord, our God himself have shown the gratitude. So we never should forget this gratitude. And accordingly, now another very common term is doing wrong, new normal. To survive this. This is a very new term which has been coined, the new normal. And if you remember a decade and a half back, a thing has come, which is SMS, short message service. That communication protocol has changed how we communicate today. And now that SMS is coming in its new avatar. That is sanitize, mask, and social distancing. So we should have this attitude that not only we are protecting, but if I found somebody in front of me using all these 3 SMS, I should be grateful to him that he has taken care to protect me. And once we develop this type of positive attitude, this will bring us and change. That is what is gratitude. Few days back, I'm not going to name the person, but obviously a photograph was shared of a toddler in our group with a mask. And we know how the toddler face become very irritated to put that. But this toddler has realized, seeing all the people around him, around her rather, putting that thing, that is the change of attitude we require. We actually, the grown up, we think that we know everything. And the media is already focusing that it is the absence of this gratitude which our tradition, our heritage has taught us. The Western countries, the more developed country, one of the things which causes this pandemic to flourishing like anything over there or expanding like anything over there is just the opposite of gratitude, that is arrogance. It is their arrogance which is putting this. So with this few words, it is the attitude which is the state of mind, and it is our second habit. So we have to put lots of positive vibes, and we should have this sense of fulfillment. And we should be thankful that we are still living and we are attending this webinar instead of any other places which we should not be. So this sense of gratitude, even a person who is giving this, we should be thankful that yes, you are using that SMS code. So that is my presentation or my little bit contribution to this. And at the end, one famous song which we grown up with, that is what? Jiban Chalne Ka Naam. Chalte Raho Subah Sham. So this is the thing with which I want to conclude. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And finally, I'd like to request Gitumoni ma'am to kindly share your opinions regarding our topic of attitude with gratitude. Ma'am. And I think you need to unmute your microphone, ma'am. Or yes.
Okay, Asman, I'm here.
Yes.
Audible.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, ma'am.
Thank you, Asman, for giving me the opportunity. I'm very much thankful to the Royal Global University for choosing me as a panelist of the today's webinar, and I'm thankful to all the people, whoever is attending this webinar. And yes, very rightly chosen the topic. It is attitude of gratitude. So what is attitude? First, I would like to little bit give that message. So if we know an iceberg, the tip of the ice only we can see. So as we see the tip of the iceberg, that is our behavior, and attitude, what is lying submerging in the iceberg under the sea. So if we like boost our attitude, then it is our attitude who is make or refine our behavior, and the attitude which refine our behavior, and the behavior is our personality. So that personality, what we do, what others sees on us, what others will know about us. This is the person, or this is the Gitumoni ma'am, how she behave or how is she. So that is the attitude, and how we can improve this attitude with the help of gratitude is very important. As From the beginning of our childhood, our parents teach us how to be grateful. Even the students, when they come to the nursing profession, we teach them how to be grateful. And we should be practicing every day this thankfulness to every human being. Whomsoever we come across, we should be able to tell their good child. If you see somebody with a very good hair, you can appreciate her. Or we can say, yes, you are having a very beautiful hair. We can, yes, you are having a very beautiful smile. Yes, you are having a beautiful voice. That person will be boosted. As we receive gratitude and we give gratitude, both give us energy. And that energy, how we get, when we receive or when we give gratitude to somebody or we offer our thankfulness to somebody, that increase our serotonin level as well as dopamine level in our body. And that through neurotransmitter help us to make us happy. And when we are happy, we are living our life. We are enjoying our life. When we enjoy our life, what will happen? Definitely that will help us to regulate our blood pressure. That will help us to increase our sleep, have better rest. That will increase our immunity, as well as it will reduce our pain and aches.
I think there is some technical glitch
Yes.
on the end of Moni ma'am. I think we can continue whenever ma'am joins us. Since VC sir mentioned about the role of family, my first question is directed towards VC sir himself. So you being a father, you being a parent,
All
so what do you
positive
think?
aspects
Yes.
in this presence,
Sorry to interrupt.
how much blessed
Okay.
we are.
Let her complete.
Okay, just few 1 minute more.
Yeah, ma'am, we lost your connection for a while, so we thought, please continue, ma'am. I'll come back to the question later on.
Okay. Pandemic of COVID-19 is a repetition of history. It's not only this century, every century there is a pandemic, and we have learned many things from those. Even this year also, as it is becoming more. But that what was during the dengue, black fever, that time the death rate was much more. Now we are from this COVID-19 pandemic, we are grateful that it is not that much, and it is not an airborne disease. And moreover, we should be grateful that we are in India, where there is only 7% death in lakh of population, where in other side of India there is more than 300 death per lakh population. So we can see the rate of the affected people. We are very less in number. And other side of COVID-19 pandemic, what have taught us the healthy practices, what the nurses or the doctors or the paramedics who were trying to teach the people each and every day, but it is not reaching each and every person. But this COVID pandemic has very rightly taught each and every person how to maintain his personal hygiene, how to maintain respiratory care, how we should be. So all those practices will definitely reduce the tuberculosis, will reduce all the waterborne diseases. Because of frequent hand washing, there will be reduction of hepatitis, there will be reduction of diarrhea. In near future, we can see all those definitely. So it is the change of future is depend on the person attitude. So this is the great line. With that, I'd like to stop. And in my next time, definitely we will be sharing more with you. Thank you, Ayushman.
Thank you, ma'am. I absolutely agree with you that over the course of the human history, we humans have faced several epidemics, several obstacles, and as human beings, we have triumphed over such disasters and have established ourselves as we have today. Coming back to my question, which I posed to VC sir, since he mentioned in his initial remarks about family, sir, being yourself as a father and a parent, so what do you think is the role of the parents in this modern era to ensure, say, an overall well-being of the children in instilling, say, a sense of gratitude towards others?
Look, Ayushman, I've already said about my era when the father has taught us gratitude the way. But then now in the current era, when gradually it has been observed that the old, I would say, good habits, the old, thoughts and thinking, which we used to have, as no more valid, or we say in practice, by the younger generation. However, it doesn't mean that younger generation is not having the attitude for gratitude. The only issue is what I foresee as a family, as a father, as a parent, that unless and until we are trying to tell our children that they are living in this world peacefully, happily, and gaining whatever best they are getting out of this environment, society, and everything is not only their hard work, it is hard work of many people around us. So whenever you take your children out, you go for a vacation, you go for maybe a drive, tell those children, tell your children, tell the children in the family that you see these, these this land which is on the roadside, where we have mustard, where we have wheat, where we have rice being grown. Tell them how farmers work very hard and do their best to produce food grains for us, produce vegetables for us. Whenever they eat anything, whenever they have, as Anuradha has very rightly said, the platter in front of you, you should first close your hands and say thanks to the God and thanks to all those people who has made that food possible to come to your plate. So if every day, in everything you do, from cleaning of your house to cleaning of your car, by the people, somebody is pressing, ironing your clothes, somebody is bringing food to your home, somebody is selling things so that you can buy and come. If the children from the very beginning have been trained and taught that these are the very important people in your life, because of them only we are living a beautiful life. I think that is for the middle class, for middle class. And some question has been raised. I think, Anshuman, you must take that how the gratitude, attitude of gratitude is valid for the people who are from the lower strata of society. I think that question can be asked later on. I would like to, love to answer that, but that is very important question. And I think I have given the answer for your question. And I mean, it's not difficult. A family itself, the parents, grandparents, and the whole family is showing gratitude, all the people around them, everything they are getting. If this, I think children are very, I will say, moldable. They are very good learners. I think if the family is having the right kind of attitude for gratitude, I think there's no problem of developing that kind of habit and culture in our children also.
Yes, thank you.
I think this is what I also want to just add on one thing, Anshuman here, that the beautiful part of today's webinar so far is that every speaker has touched upon a different domain altogether. Somebody, Borag has touched upon the religious aspects. Dr. Anuradha Devi has come up with research of positivity, of gratitude. Agra has come up with many other issues during COVID time, what kind of gratitude we have developed and show. Gitumani cover also, everybody has come on a different, thing. And this is, I think, this is the beauty of such kind of webinars where we have people from different domains. Anita Madam has touched upon how we should be grateful and show gratitude for the environment. It's a beautiful thought came from all the sides. So Anshuman, carry on.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Since we got the perspective of a father, I'd like to go with the mother's perspective. If Angra ma'am, within 30 seconds or something, if you can quickly share us, how do you think? Yeah.
Okay, fine. The flip side of this COVID, I feel, is getting quality time with, getting an opportunity to spend quality time with children, which we normally don't get. So one thing I agree is these days, practically, you cannot preach the children. So since they are homebound, they cannot do certain activities. Let us involve them in activities of their interest. Let us be with them so that, the bonding goes stronger. That's where you can explain. As sir was saying, this gratitude with sir, maybe his father is to say, they listen. These days children, they find it difficult. So creating this interest, through this bonding, let us teach them these values. And just I'd like to mention that maybe my son has been going out every day to feed the neighborhood dogs and cats. So I have taken it today as it's his expression of gratitude, for which I guess I'm happy. So I think we should somehow imbibe in them through their interest, through proper bonding.
Thank you, ma'am. I'd like to take a question from our audience now. Dr. Amit Khare, he asks that how can we overcome the problem of COVID-19 in education industry by applying gratitude and attitude? Well, I'll ask if Burag Bhai sir can kindly throw some light on it. How in the education industry we can overcome the problem of COVID-19 by applying attitude of gratitude. Sir, I think you have to unmute yourself, sir. If you kindly can unmute yourself. Yeah.
So this is not a very easy question. COVID-19, how to, but I mentioned in my opening remark, you must recall, in my opening remark, I say that this attitude of gratitude should help us to cope with the change and take the challenge of COVID-19. Right. So bringing back that statement into your question, I think students, globally, what we are desperately trying to do in educational institutions all over in response to the COVID-19 situation, it's a huge disruption. So the immediate response has been to how to overcome this disruption and continue somehow. So in many cases, as in our university, you are a part of it, we have experienced it, we have witnessed it, that we must be grateful to the availability of technology. The technology we are blaming for all the ills in today's world, but it eventually helped us carry forward our teaching learning process. So at least we are not completely cut off from our students. We are taking them forward. Knowledge transmission is happening, right? But in a different way. But then nevertheless, the purpose is being served. We should be grateful for that. Technology, so the take-home message is that technology can be a double-edged, sword. We must learn how to use it. I would just very quickly, I know our time is very short, I would very quickly point out two very valid points. One is that in this world of technology, I think Angira ma'am has told us this point, that in this world, where we have come from a very simple life to technology-driven, technology-dominant, technology-intensive life, we are all well connected. We are all globally well connected. We talk about communication, we talk about connectedness and internet connectivity and so on and so forth. But in the process, what has happened, we have lost two important connectivities. One is with nature and the other one with each other, with our life. So we must not forget that technology is not for not for losing anything. We have to use it, and we have to use it judiciously, and especially, as I've said, that technology can be really utilized for the purpose of education in an age of disruption, in a situation of disruption, as we are passing through today. I think that is a very short response to what you said.
Thank you, sir. We have a couple of questions regarding the migrant workers and the situation that has been going on in the country. We have one question by Dr. Shrutima Ladwara. She says that we are looking at this idea of being grateful from a middle class and upper middle class perspective. Now, what kind of gratitude could people at the grassroots level, for example, the migrant workers, feel? I think part of it was addressed by Anuradha ma'am, but I think I'll begin with Anuradha ma'am, and we can take quickly VC sir's opinion on that as well. That how do you think we can show our gratitude towards migrant workers?
We are showing, how can we show our gratitude towards migrant workers?
Yes.
I think if you think about the televisions, whatever they have, it's showing that the plight of the migrants. I think why they are migrated from one place to another, because they want to be with their family. I think I know their plight is enormous. I mean, we cannot imagine the plight they are facing, because we are in a comfort zone. We are having a comfort level at our home, but whatever they are feeling, I think that emotions, what they are going through, I think it's imaginable. We cannot imagine that. If we can a little bit, we can have a support hand for them. I mean, we as 1.32 billion people are there. they are going in the street, they are walking to their home. As a person, the personal level, I think if we can, if we can help them a little bit, showing our gratitude, or we can, I think we can do a lot of things for them and to show our gratitude towards them. Again, but I think Shrutimala has said what is their perspective. I think the question is that the perspective of the migrant workers or the lower strata of people about the attitude of gratitude. I think I'm sure. I mean, I think they are more grateful. I mean, they are the people who are possessing this kind of attitude. I think better than us. I think I believe that they are having more kind of this kind of attitude with them, and that is the reason I think they are traveling so much of miles, thousands of miles, traveling, walking, and taking so much of travel and reaching them. I think that can be salutable, and that can be, we must appreciate that and their strength of doing that. I mean, that's commendable. I think they have got that kind of positivity and that kind of strength in them. I think they have more of this kind of attitude than the people like us.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
should think that way.
Yes. VC sir, would you like to add to what ma'am said? Sir, you have to unmute yourself, sir. Please, if you can unmute yourself. If our IT team can unmute sir on their behalf.
Done. Sorry. So I think what Dr. Anuradha has said, very rightly said, that whatever gratitude we are talking about and what Dr. Shrutimala has raised the question, I think these migrant workers from the lower strata, they are more grateful for the things around. They have the attitude of gratefulness more than us. That personally, I also feel, because I know the way they behave when they go around. Second part is what probably the question intended us to answer is that in this tough condition, when they are on the road and they are feeling all the atrocities, what kind? Look, Dr. Shrutimala, we are very pained and to see the way people are, being migrating while walking on the road, or maybe going by different modes of transport. Whatever news we see every day, it's really, really painful for all of us. But at the same time, we at our level are trying our level best to help these migrant workers wherever the situation is. Middle class and upper middle class in this country has actually given that much of support to these people at different places, which probably news is normally not showing us, is of great, caliber, and they are doing it in a big way. However, these people who are passing through 1700, 1600, 1000 kilometers on foot or by taking lift by some people, I tell you, they are showing more gratefulness to each and every person who's helping them in comparison to we normally do in our own life. So I would say that everybody has its own level of showing gratefulness, and everybody has its own situation to show the gratefulness depending upon the strata they belong to. So I think this probably is not the 100% answer for your question, but somehow this what we feel is the answer for your question. Anshuman.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm sure your thoughts have reverberated your opinion. I have, before we can wind up, I can take 2-3 more questions. One question which I've seen has been repeated is that, to promote psychological strength during these times of COVID-19, when the news media is flooded with, negative news, how do the common people stay positive? If Soumitra Sen sir would like to add his idea that how common people, layman people, how can they stay positive in spite of the 24-hour news channels repeating the same news over and over again? So your take on that.
Thank you, Ayushman. The thing I have already said, that it is through gratitude that there will be negativity is always there. And this is one of the trend that we Indians are always blamed of. In every positivity, we try to find out a negativity. So that is a basic trend with us. We cannot do away with it. But in COVID-19, we have to see, as many of my panelists, co-panelists have said, that in comparison to Western countries, see where we stand and what is our population, what is our infrastructure. And with this plight of migrant laborers, still we are at a more comfortable level than you take the examples of Italy and all. And I think basically this is my personal opinion. This is all because our heritage culture of showing gratitude and listening to the people of the advice. And we have to take that, the positivity, whatever positivity is going on, the people feeding, the celebrities also helping the migrants to go back. This is to be highlighted more rather than the plight, what they are going through and highlighting that this is not being done, this is not being done. You take the state of Assam, the way the minister concerned is putting more than 24 hours, you can say. And that is a positivity we should take. How a thing is to be fought against, not criticizing that this is not being done, that is not being done. We cannot get everything in an abnormal situation. It is not a normal situation. So we have to see the positivity. How many people are recovering instead of saying how many people are affected. Every day that COVID-19 or that apps is given, you see the percentage. Everybody have that thing. Percentage of recovery. That is the most important thing. And there lies the positivity. That what my take on this.
Yeah. One final question from the audience's side, that it talks about the frontline workers. I already mentioned about the frontline workers. We have Nagendra Kumar Jain posting us a comment that at the time of COVID-19, he asks that how can we show our attitude of gratitude towards the frontline workers? Gitumani ma'am, would you comment on that?
Yes, Asman, thank you. As we have seen, whole world is showing their gratitude to the frontline workers. We have seen that every world, or even our Narendra Modi Prime Minister also given us when the whole country was giving our gratitude towards the frontline workers. Even same practice has been going on all over the world, and it is very important that if we practice whatever the guidelines is given by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, our Assam Family Welfare is telling us to, if we abide by those rules, like wearing the mask, using our hands, sanitize our hands, using the cough etiquette, not spitting on the roadside, if we practice all those things, we are giving a gratitude to them. We are protecting ourselves as well as we are protecting others. Means there will be less number of people affecting with COVID-19. If less number of people are affected with COVID-19, definitely frontline workers have less people to take care of. We can reduce their risks of getting affected if there is less number of people, so that they can give attention whoever is getting admitted or whoever is positive cases in the hospital, they can take care of properly. If we are not following the guidelines, we do whatever we want, then definitely we are increasing their burden. We should be, all of us,
The voice is not.
good health habits. All of us, we should be practicing good health habits, so that like
ma'am, your voice is
be
breaking. I think there's some internet connectivity issues, ma'am, on your end. Okay, if our panelists agree, can I take one more question?
Yeah,
if you're...
you can take one or two questions. I think they have been raised. Yeah.
Yeah, so yes, this is a question where it talks about the job scenario of our country. Since there are rapid loss in terms of job, people are giving into depression, stress. There's a question posed by Dr. Chitra. She asks how adopting an attitude of gratitude can help us during this COVID-19, especially in terms of job crisis that leads to depression and stress. This is open to our panelists. Anyone can comment on that. Yes, Professor Bora, go ahead.
Okay. Irrespective of whether it was pandemic COVID-19 or not, there was an element of uncertainty in recent years. There has been an element of uncertainty about what kind of jobs our students, the present generation of students, will have to go for. And experts have been telling that the way the world is changing, we are preparing our children, we are preparing our students for jobs unknown, for jobs that do not exist even today. So therefore, that element of uncertainty was there, has been there, and now with this pandemic, COVID-19 disruption, we find that this uncertainty has been made more complicated. All right. So therefore, but then still bringing into the context of the, attitude of gratitude to the, opportunities that are there even now. As I mentioned in another discourse, I think in the last time, that irrespective of whatever job that will come in the future, maybe the jobs we do not know, but those jobs will definitely require certain basic skills. One is for communication, one is the art of collaboration, one is for the ability to think creatively and positively. All right. So these are skills to be cultured now. We should be thankful that still, even if we do not know what kind of subjects, what kind of technology will come, but whatever may be the kind of technology, the subject, the domains that future jobs will require, these will be quintessential. How to communicate, how to collaborate, how to think creatively, and so on and so forth. So we should look forward to this with thankfulness. Yes.
Thank you, sir. And we have a question from Savera Islam Madam. She says that how can we transmit this attitude of gratitude to everybody, irrespective of their social and economic classes? And it's like a sense of instilling a value. Anita ma'am, would you like to comment on that? How we can transmit this attitude of gratitude to everybody? Anita ma'am, am I audible to you?
I think she's disconnected.
Yeah, so this is open to the other panelists as well. That how can we, most of our panelists have already touched upon the topic of how can we ensure that others are experiencing this attitude of gratitude. But she specifically mentions irrespective of the social class. If Angira ma'am, if you can just, irrespective of social classes, how can we transmit this attitude of gratitude?
I have not got her question actually. Like, where does the social class come in here? I'm not sure what she's trying to say.
To just, in her own words, she says, can we transmit this attitude of gratitude to one and all, middle class, lower class, by ensuring, instilling value systems to all?
Can I just come?
Yes, madam, please. Yeah, okay. Sure, ma'am.
As ma'am has said, Savera Islam ma'am has said that how can you transmit? I think as we have already discussed that this is like a kind of a habit. How we can have make bring out habits like discipline or any other. It's like it will inculcate day by day. It's not that one day today we are imbibing to them, telling them that you have to be grateful for that and this. And as long as we are doing it every day, and we should definitely have, as I have mentioned, keeping this kind of, there are a lot of things we can do. We can do a lot of things, not only for middle class, lower class. There is nothing to do with class system. I think the lower strata of the society are more having more of this kind of attitude than the middle class and upper class people. This is a personal feeling, of course, but I think they are having more kind of this kind of attribute in them, imbibing them better than us. So I don't think there is need of teaching them or preaching them. I need to
no, as sir has said, VC sir
has a habit or we don't need to, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Angira ma'am.
Yes. As sir, VC sir has rightly said, in their own ways, whatever the class is, they do develop this, they learn it, and they are showing it in their own way. So I guess it's there within.
Yes, it is something
Ayushman,
culture. Yes, ma'am.
Ayushman, if I may say so, VC sir already touched upon this point, but in my opinion, we can make people aware of the attitude to gratitude. Okay, because that is something which you're born with and which you inculcate. As teachers, it's our duty to make them aware. That awareness itself will later on lead to them being grateful.
Thank you. I think we touched almost every topic possible and tried to answer all the questions that our audience have asked. Just to present the final words, when I was reading about attitude of gratitude, there was this quotation that really struck me. It said that feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a gift present and not giving it. So final takes on the topic. I'll request our panelists to give within a minute or so the final takes on the topic.
I think,
This is-
Ayushman, I'll take this because this is the problem. You have touched upon the last minute. We many times feel gratitude, but we don't show our gratitude. And that is where I think it depends from culture to culture. There are few culture I have seen, because somehow I got the opportunity to work at many places in this country. And I always say that there are culture which are very prompt in showing their happiness, showing their gratitude to the people. And there are many cultures who are finding it little difficult, little apprehension, even if they are grateful. I'm not saying that they are not grateful. They are very grateful to people, but then they will think twice, thrice, 4 times to appreciate somebody. So I think that is where we need to change very quickly, all of us, especially in this country. And we have to be very, very prompt. And because that promptness of showing our gratitude will make life beautiful for all of us. For me, for you, for your parents, for your children, for your spouse, everybody, if something good happens and they have been appreciated without thinking twice. But then again, as I said, it will be a gradual transition, because habits do not change very quickly, and attitude and habits, they go hand in hand. But then this is what you have touched upon. And I think as somebody has said, I also read, this is Lewis Howes. He's written a book called The School of Greatness. In his book, The School of Greatness, he has very categorically said, the life is better if you develop an attitude of gratitude by showing it. It's not by attitude of gratitude, by attitude of gratitude by showing it. And he also said very categorically that cultivate success from within. Many times we find some very simple people are very successful in life, very successful. And sometimes very, very knowledgeable people are not that successful in life. So probably what I have learned and heard in my life, the success lies in their gratitude. The success lies in the way they approach to the life. And the success lies that the way they are trying to appreciate others around them, so that everybody creates a lot of positive energy and help the institution and the organization and the person in their growth. So this is what I think from my side, the last
I want to add to you that it's a question of evolving our expressions. Evolving our expressions, showing our gratitude, that's where at times is lacking. So we need to express. That's the basic thing.
Yeah, it is a main important part of, developing attitude towards gratitude is saying thank you. Start with a thank you note. That's an important thing. Starting with a thank you, it will again automatically, give you the attribute, develop the attribute in yourself. Start loving yourself, start, thanking you, being alive. That is important. And also, I concluding remark from my side is I am very thankful that COVID actually happened, because for a researcher like me or the people who wants to do involved in the scientific research, COVID-19 has given up ample opportunity to do many, many areas of research. I mean, be it economists, be it social scientists, be scientists, there are a lot of opportunities are given, future prospects are given. So we must be thankful for that also. So I'm thankful, and this has come. This topic has been taken for our discussion, and we must be grateful for it's one of us, and we must be grateful for ourselves. Thank you.
Ayushman, one more thing I would like to add. Ayushman?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yes.
Can I add? See, being grateful is very reciprocal. Actually, if you're grateful, the opposite person also becomes grateful to you. So that is a reciprocal.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Rightly.
And thank you for hosting. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am,
I am very grateful. Yes, sir.
Just to add on, Ayushman, what Anita ma'am said, I do agree with you, Dr. Anita, that it is very reciprocal. But then, many times as a teacher, I feel that we need to, keep ourselves away from the gratitude being shown by others. Because if you want to develop the habit among the people, we have to be grateful, even if somebody in front of us is not that grateful. I mean, this way we can gradually change the whole scenario, because give and take is not always their gratitude. Once you show the gratitude,
Yes, yes.
I think it should be shown from the open heart. It should not be
Open
shown
heart,
with
yes.
the expectation that you will get the
No, no.
in this.
No, I did not mean, sir, I did not mean that you should expect. What I meant is reciprocal. Once you start expressing yourself openly, the other person also reciprocates.
It's not necessary, ma'am. Other person may take some time to reciprocate. That I'm saying. He or she may take
Yeah,
time,
okay.
2-3 times. Yeah. So that way we should be open. I mean, gratitude should be flowing like water, open.
Yes, on that very good note, I would like to thank and express my gratitude to everyone, our esteemed members of the panelists for taking the time out and attending this webinar. To all the audience for really attending it, and especially to the people behind the screens, the IT members, the members of the administration, for really managing the webinar very efficiently. You know,
Webinar
at the
team.
University, we believe in the dictum of count your blessings. No? And these COVID times have ingrained in every individual a sense of gratitude, a gratitude for being alive, for staying positive with a very positive mind and a positive attitude. No doubt the pandemic has shrouded the entire world in uncertainty. But just like the Burhaluit or the mighty Brahmaputra, which never stop to flow, no matter what obstacles it meets in its way. So we as human beings also need to re-engineer ourselves, to align ourselves to the positive thoughts that have come. And we need to also show gratitude to each and everybody that is around us. And that should always begin with oneself. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end this with a line from Dylan Thomas, which says, "Do not go gentle into the good night, rage against the dying of the light." We need to fight. The spirits are high. And on that note, everyone, stay home, stay safe, and hope to meet you all very soon. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
sir.
Thank you.
Ayushmann.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ayushmann. Thank you, everyone.